Yeah, art is an important part in my life. I know it's wrong. I can say the art is part of my life because art is just my life. I can wake up at home and go to studio and I just figure out, wow, it's like 4 in the morning. And I go to my studio before everybody came, even before the elevator guy came. In the winter times, usually it's very cold because the heat starts to work from 8. I'm there from 4 to 6. You go there because you have this feeling, you have to be there. This is what's making me live happy life. This is the space where I create all my ideas. All my life I thinking to be artist, but artists need a freedom. In USSR, in Russia, it was impossible.
I can't even explain how much harder it was for him to achieve everything because of where he came from, because things he went through. But it also made him the person he is.
When I came to America, I find this freedom which one I'm looking for all my life.
We really looked at David's work and said, oh my goodness, there's something going on here that's very, very different.
I looked over and saw this amazing installation of broken dishes, and I wanted that.
Those collectors who were once collecting Picasso, Miro, Chagall's, they're now collecting Datuna.
Just like Keith Haring started and Warhol started and Basquiat started, now you have a guy called David Datuna.
In the art world, we're all waiting, what's the next thing? And I think that the convergence, art, technology, even education, converges with this new work that David is doing.
I use thousands and thousands and thousands lenses, and it's a very hard process to get these all lenses, and I tell you why. Because lenses, for me, it's same thing like media. I have different color lenses in different shapes, and this like artists use the palitras, you know, and paint the artwork. Same time, I work with my glasses because this is for me paintings, you know, this is for me colors. First time I present this piece in a Birnam Wood Gallery in Chelsea, months before the second Obama elections. We did this also with the lenses from different color and shapes, and what's more important, different prescription, because in these frames, for example, we have plus and minus prescription. People like the Obama and people hate the Obama. This is what the reality story is. But wherever they like or not, they stay together. And this piece actually created from the small images of Abraham Lincoln. For me, actually, it's one of the more important American presidents. And in the left eyes, you can see the Rosa Parks, and in the right eyes, we can see Dr. Martin Luther King. And I have big hope when people looking at this piece and decide what direction we have to go after this. I have a hope of this. My first Israel flag, the black and white pest, I finished it like 2 years ago. This was a triptych, black and white present the past, color one for present. Future one is completely white, like black canvas. Black and white looks for me like a couple months. It's incredibly hard. It takes all your energy. I have a collector, and she's ordered for me black and white small Israel flags, and I do now. She was in Auschwitz, and she wants to share this experience with her family. This is why she ordered this piece from me. Yeah, and I'm happy to do this for her, but this is my last piece. I do this. I can't do it anymore. It's too much. Okay. It's absolutely different feeling now from the piece. You can see all faces come out and they try to talk to you, you know? It's ready. Last things I have to just sign in the back. My next piece is called A Portrait of America. It is an experiment with the first generation of wearable technology and contemporary art. Google Glass, it's like the first brick cell phone. I'm sure in the future it will be very different. The shape of the flag is ready. I choose all articles inside. And for now, I just do the lenses together. This is one of the more important parts. It's not only about shape, color, it's about meaning. Lenses means for me the people. It's important what kind lenses is, what shape, because we are different, same thing, lenses is different. Like in a real life, everybody have a different character, everybody have a different color. Same thing is here. Different shape, different color, different prescription. This is the rich guy. He know what he wants from the life, you know? He's +6. He's looking for this life for very positive things, everything positive for him. And we want to make some contrast. We want to put this guy in the top of some negative articles and maybe a few more, like this. And when I put the lenses together, it has to be natural. It has to be one living organism. Sometime I can finish it big part and I spend like a day or two and take it off and start over again. Like for example, in this case, I don't feel it's organic here. So this way, I don't really like what I did, and we have to start over. And like this the whole day, you know? Two parts of my life is art and my family. And I can separate this because this is two parts of me. One of the more important art installation is my son, you know, David Jr. He's just 8 years old, but we spend hours and hours in all New York museums. And I took him in a studio when he was like 1 year old. David was in a bus and just they saw the American flag somewhere, you know. And they said, "Oh, you see the American flags?" Everybody say, "Yes, yes." And my dad did this American flag, and the children in the bus, they say, "What are you talking about? Your dad doesn't do this." And he was very upset. He just told me, "I don't want to go in a school." I said, "Why?" Nobody believed me. What I decide, I go to his school. I'm gonna bring one of my small American flag, and I wanna have a discussion with children, you know?
That's the American flag.
What's the American flag, what's my flag means, and interesting what they're gonna say.
Oh my God. It's okay, leave it. Your father made this famous sculpture. American flag.
So hello. This is the art sculpture of American flag, and this is the small version of sculpture, the name of Viewpoint of Billions. And the biggest one I have to build with David Jr. in a few weeks.
Is that made out of newspapers?
Yes, right. This makes out of newspapers because I post like articles, what's going on in the country. It's articles about us, articles maybe about you. And we're gonna make this piece, works with the Google Glass. So this is the Google Glass.
I saw those in the Iron Man 3 movie.
Okay, now you're gonna try it today too, you know? Who like to try the Google Glass? It's very important how you present your art, how you can make your art more understandable for new generation. I try to build bridge between art and you guys. You are the new generation. You are our future. So this artwork, it's not about glass. It's not about computer. This artwork, it's about big meaning. What we are, why we're here, what we have to do in the future. But we connect this with the Google Glass just to make easy to understand for you why I did this. And maybe you like it, maybe not.
We'll see.
For David, it's not at all about the technology. What David's trying to do is come up with ways to grab the attention of the audience.
What do you see? The video? Cool, right? So this is like bridge between you, me, and this piece.
So in this moment, as they put on glass for the first time, they were able to immediately understand what they were looking at and immediately be able to feel something.
You like it? Okay, cool.
And the kids really seem to like it.
Okay, please, everybody sit down. Who can answering for one question for me? So what's the more important? What's the more cool? Technology and Google Glass or art?
Art!
For us, for humans, art have to be more important. Yeah! All right? You happy?
Uh-huh.
Absolutely, because you have happy eyes now.
Uh-huh.
So give me 5.
What I do now, I do the base of the American flag. 50 stars go in. After we're gonna put lenses on, the special photos, video devices, but for now it's only base. But like we know, base, one of the more important things for whatever you do, for everything. And just now, I'm just gonna put stars in. Ready? So first star in. When I do my pieces, it's not about only the meaning and only the message. It's about energy. Good. When people see the art and they're looking for art, they feel me. They feel I am there, you know?
David and I met at a Scope art show in New York, what feels like a lifetime ago. David and I spend a lot of time together, so naturally I help him out any way that I can physically with his work.
The glass gonna recognize these photos in a flag. Jasper Jones, my favorite forks, you know. Yeah, first car. And we have very important, look, 2 photos of Michael Jackson. One is the more like beautiful photos of him, and another one, the ugliest one. This is the real story of him. So this is also the flag, it's real story. This neighborhood is Sheepshead Bay. It was my first place when I stay in Manhattan Beach. I came actually for 1 month, just see how people live here, and I stay already like 15 years. Yeah, my long 1 month. First day when I arrived to US, I came here, it's maybe like 200 fishing men, so I bought everything what I need. I came here, and I started fishing, you know? And I catch, I don't know the name, this kind of size of fish. And the next minute, police came, you know, and they said, you have no proof to catch this fish here, so and give it to me, ticket, you know. This is my first ticket experience in US. And this is the sign. No fishing, you don't know. Now I know all signs in New York, what's the means. The police officer told me, so give it to me your ID. I said, I have no ID with me. And he said, okay, so give me your last name and first name. I said, sure, Iosif. And he write Iosif, and last name, Stalin. I say, Iosif Stalin. Okay, Iosif Stalin, you have the ticket for $500. I say, thank you. So Iosif Stalin have ticket for $500. You know? Sorry. I born in 1974 in Georgia, city of Tbilisi, one of the most beautiful city in the world. It was a very beautiful city, but life was terrible. Absolutely zero freedom, and people doesn't have dream over there. This was my problem. All my life I thinking to be artist, but I just realized what it means to be artist there. I mean, it means nothing. In USSR, if you are different, everybody hates you. Doesn't matter, you're different because you're thinking different, you eat different, you wear something different. Everybody hates this. And this is absolutely touching for the artist, you know? If you're the artist and you do something new or something different, everybody hates this. Nobody appreciates it, nobody likes it. I was like 7, 8 years old, and I understand something wrong with this country. And I don't want to live here. My mother and father, they sold everything what they have. We don't have a lot of things, but they sold house, they sold car. Just to make possibility, I came to US. My mother moved to New York first, and she prepared everything for rest of the family. But my father died, and just I moved to New York. But all my family spent all life to make my dreams happy. And I really like the conception of this country. And I just start to understanding, like maybe this is country, maybe it could be my country. Because the possibility to give it to you freedom in whatever you do, you know? In my case, in my art. And maybe people can understand and appreciate what you do. This was moment when I decide I am American. And yes, I born in USSR. Yes, I have an accent when I spoke in English, but I am a person from this area. This is my country. Я извиняюсь. А можно я один круг сделаю и верну вам велосипед? Спасибо. Это... Окей. Bye, guys. Спасибо большое вам. Спасибо. До свидания. So people can see in the video, I'm not dying yet. So. Yeah, last couple of months I'm feeling a little bit not okay, you know, just coughing and go tired very quick. We decide with my doctor to get the PET scan test, and a few weeks ago we diagnosed the lung cancer, stage 3. Today, my first therapy day in a hospital. I start the radiation today. Yes, and actually we did the schedule, radiation, work, chemotherapy, studio. So we'll see how we're gonna take care. I hope it's gonna be okay. So this why it's my voice a little bit. I lost my voices, but I hope it's in a week or two they come back. But now I wear the shorts, and you know, I know some people see it. I had an operation here. Even my mother, you know, I don't want to tell her. I don't know how I have to tell her now, but soon as event, she must know, you know, but not now. What I think is very important from this project, and why even I have a therapy today, and you know, tomorrow it's going to be every day now, because it's about future in technology, future in art. It's absolutely different directions. And I want to be one of the first who did this. This is actually a reason why I came to US and I stay here, because I think differently, you know. This is why I still work in 15 hours every day in the cancer stage 3, because I think differently, and I believe what I think. My new home. I know I can take care of the sickness because I have many projects in the future.
Moving on to art now, and an exhibition of American artist David Datuna. That's quite an unusual display, but turns out that this American artist Datuna, he's one of the best-selling artists in the world at the moment. The focal point of this display is two Russian rulers, Vladimir Putin and the last Russian Tsar, Nicholas II.
I did the two portraits of President Putin and Nicholas II, last Tsar of Russia. We put these two portraits cross for each other. I call it the Nicholas II and Putin clash of civilization. It was a very political statement. I think people understand this. We feel from the eyes, but not everybody can talk about it because they have a scare, you know.
The questions that David asked in those two portraits are questions that cannot be verbalized in Russia. What is the difference between Tsar Nicholas II and Tsar Vladimir I? David made a statement in the heart of the beast, so to speak.
That artist is also famous. He created a portrait of Vladimir Putin. He seems to be obsessed with him, probably, and he titled it, his work, Putin the Mona Lisa.
So I did put in from tiny images of Mona Lisa, but when we put in Russia, Russian people take it too seriously, you know, Putin Mona Lisa, why he did, what he means.
Putin was an enigma, just like the Mona Lisa smile is an enigma. What is behind that smile?
They sold it at an auction.
I wonder who bought it.
It was many people who want to buy this piece, and when the people start to say how much they want to pay, you know, somebody call and say stop it, and piece left somewhere.
If you live in a regime where fear rules, there are nuances. If someone of that level decides that they want something, they get it. It could have been somebody high up trying to kiss Mr. Putin's ass. It might have been Putin himself. For all we know, he's got an altar at home where he worships himself before that portrait that Datuna created.
This is the Fulton Street, Brooklyn, when I worked a few years and I get my first job when I get in New York. So let's go, I'll show you. We'll see if people still remember me. Tony, can I come in? Thank you. So this is how I get the idea about the lenses. So you see, I sell the lenses frame. It's my first job in the US and I was very excited. And they always at this store had tattoo in the back. This is the art, you see, the body art. And this is the basement where we had the machine. Not tattoos on pregnant. Let's look this side, you know, it's interesting. Oh, come in. This machine, this is very dirty now, it's very old. But this was first machine, I cut the lenses. You see the lenses is here. And we had no guys before here. We just cut the lenses here, but in a frame. It was maybe 11, 12, no, it was 15 years ago. It's everything is same thing, you know. Nothing changed. Yeah, I had no any experience about the lenses before I came to US. I just came and just thinking I can be artist, but I realized nobody interesting about you, nobody know you. So I need something to do, you know, need some money to live, to eat, you know. And I found a job here in the Fulton Street. When I do this glass work before, you know, I always thinking about the conceptual of the glasses. It's not only the help for the vision, it's everybody choose different shape, different color. So it means everybody have different view. This is conception, which one born here. The viewpoint of million and viewpoint of billions conception born here in a 453 Fulton Street. Everything is our life is temporary. And work in a Fulton Street was temporary too. At the same time when I worked here in a Fulton Street, I did art shows in the US actually, I did art shows in Russia, because whatever the place I worked before, in a Fulton or somewhere else, I always like have a dream. And I leave this place to concentrate just for art.
David Datuna has been building these wonderful pieces and creating these wonderful works of art that have incorporated lenses and frames and all of these concepts around our vision. And it's very interesting that glass comes along as being something that's that next step in what you have in terms of having that lens and viewpoint on the world. Yeah, it's really coming together. Art in some ways pushes technology. And I think that's what's special about this, is that it's not just a matter of having technology be added onto it. It's really integral to this particular experience.
We have to develop an entire team to really make this unfold. We have to find developers, we have to find the right pieces of technology. No one's done it before. Trying to do this project from the beginning and sourcing out all of the materials, all of the pieces and parts that were needed to do this, on top of the fact of not even engaging Google in any way, was really a monumental task.
If you did mount it from here, what would it look like?
You can see easily. Felix, take the plus lenses and we can see exactly how it's going to look.
Yeah.
by eyes you see the one thing, but by camera you see the different things. So it's like 2-second experiment, and we get all answering. So these lenses go in a flag.
So he can hold up, we can see what it looked like. With
Yeah,
this.
so
It's interesting.
it's different, right? Or if you're looking from this side, you know, actually it's too much lighting over there. Better you look, yeah.
Yes.
You look, no, come here.
All right,
Dad,
yes.
come here. And look at me now. And I'm looking for looking for the flag. Wow, you see? So this is the effects, you know?
Yeah.
So I think 2 cameras we have to put in a bag.
And 2 in the front.
And 2 in the front.
Yeah.
Doing something more than just creating an application. We're trying to create something that mimics the same kind of beauty, the same attention to detail that David's pieces reflect when looking at them.
For example, when he uses an image like this, is Black Tuesday, the crash of the stock market, okay? Because it's set in this quadrant, what it's going to do is it'll activate a video. He's going to show you an example of what's going to happen.
Like here's
with
the demo application.
So you're seeing the live demo on this screen of what he's seeing on glass, you're seeing on the phone right now.
So you can see like there's real-time stuff
spatial
from my camera. Yeah, so you can see I'm actually able to get stuff from the camera, and you can see the numbers. Like as I turn my head, that number will change. And those are degrees based on the position that I'm turning my head.
So like for give an example of like when you hit this, we use the image of Black Tuesday. But what's great is right at the end of that, it's going to show what the closing price of the stock market live was that day.
I'm sure you as well nervous about this project because it's new for everybody. Yes. I don't know how people are going to enjoy it, but I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it a lot, you know.
When you're coming to see art, you don't want the technology to be something standing between you and what you're seeing. We have a tremendous responsibility. We have to deal with the integrity of the art. It's a burden, it's a challenge, but as technologists, we love the challenge. We love that responsibility, and we know it's on us.
I choose the more important things usually happens in US, like election, presidents, Tesla, Warhol. So for example, we have Steve Jobs. So where we're gonna put it, Steve Jobs? I think it's here. American flag of Jasper Jones go to American flag of David Datuna. Mr. James. Yeah, I like the sign. I always do like this. And you know who teach me this sign? My son. I ask him, David, how are you? How your day in the school today? You know? And I follow him, you know, I do the same thing now. And LeBron, the same thing, you know? John Kennedy. This is from election of 1960. Jerry Garcia. First time I listened to music of Elvis Presley, also in USSR. And it was like a funny story because my father was arrested 7 times only because he listened to Elvis Presley, you know. Police broke all this disc, you know, for him. And he was really arrested in a like few years period 7 times just because he liked the Presley. It's terrible, you know, but I like Presley too. Any piece I do, I always feel something new, you know. But when I do this piece, it's feeling absolutely different, you know. I never had this feeling before. I like it. I like what I feel.
You tell me how you're feeling today.
I have a little bit pain in this area.
Okay.
When I take like 4 or 5 days radiation, in the end of the week, voice start to be bad.
Okay.
You know.
What I think is happening is the radiation's causing you know, some mucus and some phlegm.
So I have a plan to come in tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And after I'm gonna fly to Miami.
Yeah.
From the treatment. Right away after the treatment.
Yeah.
And maybe just miss Wednesday and
Okay.
Thursday I'm flying back to get a treatment.
Yeah,
again.
so during the entire course of treatment, we try not to miss more than 5 days. So the best would be taking 1 day off, I'd say at most 2, because then we're really leaving very little room for error there. So obviously, continue treatment tomorrow, but if there's a problem before that, let me know.
Okay.
And good luck down in Miami.
It's exciting to see this being unloaded this evening. It's been the culmination of a lot of work, a lot of planning, and now here being late night at this wonderful facility unloading this full piece. It's exciting. We've done a lot of testing, we've done all these dress rehearsals, but now the technical dress rehearsal becomes the actual on-stage performance. We know we're going to have a long night, but that's the nature of this kind of technology. And if you're doing something new and innovative, you're going to have challenges. You're going to have the unforeseen because you're doing something completely new.
Here it is, and the first time it's going to be turned on is this moment.
Is this moment, yeah.
Because the components being built in different cities, different places, different parts. It's historic.
Imagine this is the World's Fair, and it's when they first debuted the television. You could kind of look at David's project, believe it or not, as something like that. Looking at it from today, we might not fully see that, but in the future, as time marches forward with wearables and technology, they'll really have an extreme relevance in the day-to-day. So this moment is kind of like that moment. When we flip the switch, it'll be the first broadcast for the first time that's really never been done by anybody else ever before.
We're just testing to make sure that the technology in the piece is functioning properly. And we doing stills or video?
With this, they were airborne and away.
Yeah, I see it doing something. Cool. Look at that. That's through the lens.
Oh, sweet.
It's knock on wood. It looks like pieces are working. Looks like we'll be ready for tomorrow morning. It's such a triumph to have it work.
Yeah, we came very early today because everybody now hears what we do and everybody try to help, support, and they just opened me too early just to make the early treatment for me, to make me fly early to Miami. First time I sit here alone. Usually it's 5, 7 people, just so quiet, nobody here. Sometimes we have no choice and we have to just take it, the situation how it is.
We're going to stop it from here.
Okay.
Sorry. Thank you.
Top technologists from around the world, from 30 different countries, are getting ready to descend on Miami on one of the most important art weekends of the year for this incredibly important conference where we're debuting this piece.
The week kind of centers around a series of fairs and exhibitions and parties, the main component of which is Art Basel. And Art Basel is, beyond dispute, the most important art fair in the world. But to talk about this week in the context of an art fair and a design show really does not do it justice. The synergies of excitement and cultural energy are really unparalleled.
My father was the taxi driver in Georgia. When he come in the evening at home and he asked me, "You finished your homework?" I say, "Yes." "Okay, so let's go." He sit me in the front and we just drive, And he showed me the beautiful streets, buildings. So my first expression from the art, from the beauty of the life, this comes from my father. And for now, all taxi drivers in the world, it's like my family. I love them. Now I have to turn inside to Miami. I want people see same David what they seen before. And I try to do this. Everybody looking for me now to feel my energy, And I'm gonna show them the right energy today. All negative things stay here now, and all positive things fly to Miami.
Can we get another one in the mix? We have one that's charged up, so that's 3. Can we get 4? Not yet? All right.
There's a lot of press here. Everybody's anxious to see David, everything that's going on. There's no way he can be here at the daytime. His treatment absolutely takes precedence right now. We can't divulge to the press what's taking place, so we have this really unusual moment that's very difficult. Trying to explain to press, they can't imagine that there's this giant event taking place, and the artist isn't here.
I'm looking at the sensor here, so as I'm looking at this piece, it's looking at me, and it's asking me a question. What do you think life would be like without technology? Boring.
I love this! Love it, love it, love it, love it! Yes, I use all of social media, including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
All the way from the opening at the beginning, there were hundreds of people lined up at this event. And really, the epicenter of what took place at this technology conference is everybody's so excited about David's piece. Every person took the time to stand in line and experience the piece.
Just put it on like a normal pair of glasses.
What I'm looking at is the American flag, but if you take a second look at it, what you're seeing is the life and times that you live in. It's amazing. It's an amazing experience.
One night I dreamed I painted a large American flag, and the next morning I got up and I went out and bought materials to begin it.
It was near to you, it was far from you, it was all-encompassing.
This goes on the internet?
Yes.
It's amazing.
Everywhere around the world. Long, long, long project. And finally, first day representation, it's done, you know? And we have great reaction. And I'm very happy. I canceled my flight. I must have been in New York to continue my treatment, but I spoke with my doctors by phone, and we both understand it's better for me to stay here. It's my 6th year in Art Miami, so I present my work here every year. It's just interesting. I just finish it and put in the crates, but I never see it how it it was in the wall. So I like to see it now. So let's go.
Art Miami is one of the most important international contemporary and modern art fairs that takes place here in America. We have over 125 galleries represented. These are all international galleries that are vetted and participate in some of the most important international art fairs globally.
In Basel, all art is concentrated in one city. It's not only about the art market. This is about experience, to share your experience with another artist, to share experience for each other. And this is what makes art go forward. Hello.
So Maryland is getting probably most of the attention of the show so far. I mean, people are being drawn from way back there. They just see the image and then they get here and they're drawn into it. This one is interesting because the people who've seen your work, they haven't seen moving image. This is a whole new experience for them.
Absolutely.
And what we're finding is that they're almost trying to figure it out.
Yeah, you have to explain how you have to stay, how you have to watch the flag, just move a little bit, and everything, all pictures, they move inside. When you show your art and you see the reaction of the people, it doesn't matter what they say, it's they like it or not. Absolutely doesn't matter. It means they touch them. It means your vision and your position in your life means something for them. So we go now to see how the flag moving from yesterday the MIA conference to Miami Design District in the space. So we'll see how it looks there.
We see the Design District as a cultural laboratory where great creative expression can be presented for the first time. And our collaboration with David Datuna was the ideal type of event that we like to participate in. It merged great artistic expression with the most important technology of the moment.
Everything we've done up to now has been really a dry run building up to tonight. The Thursday night party is something we've all been talking about, and now this is really a chance to expose it to just a huge audience this evening.
Very exciting.
The Army, desperate for a device to help them win the war, set to work constructing ENIAC, the electronic numerical integrator and computer.
It's a new frontier. It's art sort of embracing, wrapping its arms around technology.
Looking like the Loch Ness Monster, dressed like a cross-dressed mobster.
so many people waiting in line right now. I feel bad. They've been here for like 2 hours.
The line has been this way.
The whole idea that you're able to take art and make it very personal and relevant based on your views of what you want to say, it's amazing.
Sorry you were waiting so long, you know?
It's okay, we had a great time.
Thank you.
We got the idea one day that we could make a printed circuit board. So Waz sold his HP 6 calculator and I sold my van.
I was saying to David that this artwork is very much how Andy must have felt the first time he picked up a video camera or picked up his film camera or a Polaroid camera for the first time. It was a whole new technical medium to make art. And I think that Andy would have very much loved to have been able to experiment with it.
What cigarettes do you smoke, Doctor?
He's staring us here.
As we, as the viewer, are able to interact with a work of art and to speak to that work of art and have it actually speak back to us, that's very important. It's important for a viewer to look at a work of art and find their own definition.
This event really gave him a boost of energy, and I think it came at a really great time. Art is therapy, and art is therapy for him. When he started the Viewpoint of Billions project, he hadn't known yet that he was sick, but it wouldn't have stopped him.
Blood pressure 145, 87.
It doesn't matter what's going on in his life. If there's a project coming up that he's interested in, if he has an idea, if he has a thought, he's gonna do it.
This is the Chelsea. Maybe 10 years ago, I was in Chelsea and I tried to present my art here. It was my first experience. I just walk in the street, I'm in the galleries, show my art.
How you get accepted in New York art world is very different than you get accepted elsewhere.
We're talking about the art capital of the world here.
It's very difficult to get a break in New York. It's almost impossible.
And I was a very naive guy and naive artist, you know. I just think, oh, if you do something interesting art, maybe gallery could be interesting and we can start work together, but it's not.
If you wanted to make a comparison, trying to become a top-level artist in this competitive environment, it's more or less like trying to break through and be, an actor on Broadway. It's at the level of having a hit record.
How many galleries I check? I don't know, maybe 100, maybe 200.
I'm approached by artists every day.
I get emailed by 10 to 20 artists a day.
One story I remember, I just bring the CDs and give for some people. They say, oh, nice, we're gonna take a look. And just even I open the door and I look in the back, they throw in the garbage whatever you give it to them, So this is the reality of the Chelsea.
An artist will put their heart and soul into that piece, and then they'll come and show it to someone like me who will say, no, that's no good, and just kind of brush it off in a heartbeat. So it's one of the most soul-destroying, probably, ventures out there.
And now I understand a little bit more about it. I understand why it happens like this. But that time it was very emotional and hard to take it for me. And I just said, I have to do by myself. And I sold my car, I borrowed the money from all my friends, all my families, and I come to art the world,
In the beginning, David was very pleased with what he was doing, but it needed to grow, and he needed to grow. We were at an art fair in Miami, and David had a piece up at that art fair. And he came over to my booth and said, I'd like to show you my art. And I went over to this wall, I looked up and I said, wow. David was at a point in his career where he accomplished quite a bit, but he really wanted to get up and running in the New York art scene.
And he gave it to me opportunity to make my first solo show in New York. And this was what I waiting more for 10 years.
That evening, it was just magic. People had no idea who David Datuna was, and when they walked in the door, you felt the energy in the room.
After a successful solo show in New York, me and James decided to make some more interesting project in the different art fairs.
I was going to meet with the owners of the Los Angeles Art Show and request that David do an installation and incorporate that installation with performance art. And so they agreed to it, not understanding what David and I had in mind. David went looking for dishes all over Los Angeles. So we got into the Los Angeles Art Fair, And I said to the fair, I said, do you mind if we cover the floor? And they said, why would you need to cover the floor? And David reaches into one box and takes a dish and throws it. And everyone turns when they hear this crash of this dish. At first, it became shock. Everyone had their mouths open. Everyone was going, oh my gosh, how can this happen? This is terrible. David was creating from chaos something structural.
When I broke the dishes, I just showed for everybody how fragile we are.
Midway, David was taking both hands and throwing dishes and cups and saucers. And by the end, David was picking up 20 dishes at a time and throwing them. David became a big celebrity that night.
In a short time of period, I had shows everywhere.
You remember when we did the show, how lines stayed outside?
Yeah, they were basically down the block.
First time I was in New York, I was in the Lincoln Center, and I stay in the middle of these buildings and just say, wow.
It's in New York.
It's New York, and Monday, my piece gonna present me there for the New Yorkers. It's like, wow, you know?
So as we wind things down here in the design district, we're getting ready to mount the process right back up again, pack things up, and in the middle of the night, put them in a truck and off to New York to unveil this piece for the New York public debut at Lincoln Center.
The beauty of the piece being in the Lincoln Center, when you have an artist like Datuna, generally the public don't get access to see those works unless they're in museums. The galleries are very difficult to get an audience with. The Lincoln Center is open to the public, so the whole world will get the chance to see this piece, no matter what walk of life you're from, whether you're into art or not. You're going to be able to see this groundbreaking historical artwork, and I think that's phenomenal. That's something that's just not done in this day and age.
8 o'clock is door is open, and for everybody days is done. But for me, just start, you know. And I stay there another 5 minutes, how it looks like, because 8:30, my radiation starts.
Thanks for stopping by the Lincoln Center to take a look at this.
It's really wonderful to see it here in New York and see the reactions of people. It's a shame that David's not here to see some of those reactions right now.
David, you excited to see the piece? Yeah? Show me how excited you are. Ah, good. We pick her up with my mother, David, from the school, and I'm very excited to show him this. My first picture when I drive, I was like 4 or 5 years old, and my mother told me, you have to wear some jacket, I don't remember. I say no, and she said, if you're not gonna wear, you're not going to zoo. And just your brother and we go, and you're gonna stay home. I say, fine. And I just, in the last moment, I thinking they're joking, you know, and they're gonna take me with them, but they not did it, and I stayed home. And I was so upset, and I can find the word to say this, and I find out the list of paper, some pencils, and drive my emotions somewhere. And when my mother came home, I said, this is for you, this is what I feel why you don't take me, and she just started crying, you know. And she said, I have an unbelievable son. He's gonna be an artist.
Я очень люблю своего сына и верю, что он делает все, чтобы люди радовались. Его работы радуют людей и меня. Я счастлива, что он нашел себя. Я люблю тебя.
When I remember like yesterday, when I see how she crying and she feel my emotions, it was shock for me. And exactly this moment, I understand we can express something in art what we can express in a regular talk. Oh my God, it's cool, right?
I see a video.
Yeah? You like it? So I always say that my life it's family and my life it's the art. And all my family support me what I do. So it's not actually my art, it's our art. Because everything good what I have inside, it's from my father and mother, you know? Listen. All right.
Hey Mike, it's Louisa. Just calling to say I know it's the last day of the Lincoln Center show today, but unfortunately David and I won't be able to make it. He's had a really rough night and he's not feeling well. So unfortunately we won't see you today.
The last couple of days at the show at Lincoln Center, they were difficult days. It was snowing outside, it was cold. At some point, there wasn't a lot of people even out on the streets, and David wasn't feeling well, and he was trying to gather up all his energy to be there and be present.
This is actually an interactive art experience by David Datuna.
I need to come back and really try those out when I have a little more time.
Is that better? Give you some more time?
We'll let them know, but yeah.
I don't think it works. Oh.
So we're trying to get things set up for the new space, and we're making a couple tweaks to the network equipment inside of the artwork. We've got a bit of a time crunch because we've got the snowstorm coming in later this week, so it's a bit of fun right there.
We learned a lot during the entire process, but the public at Lincoln Center in front of a New York crowd really taught us a lot. Here's the Great Hall where they come up the stairs.
Right.
This is where Viewpoint of Billions is going to be. We kind of hit a brick wall with Google Glass because of the software updates and the device itself. It's really an early version of wearable technology. We're looking at ways to try to overcome some of these obstacles.
Here's the keywords that we have so far.
So we're we're testing out the new voice recognition for the first time. Okay.
It only responds to voice commands.
Okay.
From what I...
Cloud. Yep, brought up clouds. So we added voice recognition. We added interactivity to really make it come to life.
It doesn't work. No, it's going to be turned down. You can't install like this.
That's going to be the problem with all of these. That's why we had to remove all of these and change them.
So we're not going to finish this flag today. No
Well,
way.
of course we are.
If we start to clean now and put the lights, put the lenses, it's going to be done maybe today. Like, to be realistic, like 8, 10 o'clock.
When you do a project like this, you reach for the stars. In this instance, the stars, the Holy Grail, is the Smithsonian. And they've agreed to accept it. It's one of the worst snowstorms Washington's seen probably in a decade. The entire city is shut down. Nothing's moving. All we can do now is wait, and tomorrow, hopefully, we'll be able to load in.
Here at the National Portrait Gallery, we're looking for artists who are really speaking to our identity today. Welcome to the Portrait Gallery.
Thank you very much.
Here is something that's wildly appealing. It's high tech, and we're introducing it into a space that is incredibly traditional.
The building was actually built as the patent office. Construction started in 1836 by President Andrew Jackson. And the room that we're about to go into is called the Lincoln Gallery because it's where President Lincoln's second inaugural ball was held.
Oh.
So you can imagine Abraham Lincoln, the First Lady, all their guests
I
here.
read about this a lot, and that makes me like exciting a lot.
This building has so much history. This whole building was known as the Temple of Invention because it celebrated American ingenuity and innovation. And you think about the time when this building was started in the late 1830s, we had such great aspirations as a country, and that innovation and ingenuity were going to fuel our growth.
Anytime you change and you mess with tradition, there are going to be people who are the keepers, the stewards of tradition, and they're not going to be happy.
See the bust of Whitney on this side, some of the greatest inventors, and Franklin on this side, Jefferson, and Fulton with the steam engine. This space was designed to celebrate that sense of invention, creativity, ingenuity that would make America great. So it's an incredible sort of platform to talk about American ingenuity and creativity. And here, the Portrait of America will be displayed.
If you're going to bring new audiences into a traditional museum, you have to do things that take chances. And if this revolutionary artist is able to do that, I think this is fantastic. This is the way things move off the dot. It gives that meaning to people's lives today.
We didn't want to wait for 3 years or 5 years for this to become sort of proven technology. This gives people a chance not only to try this new technology for 3 days over President's Day weekend, but also to see how visitors will also react to that experience.
To be today in the National Portrait Gallery, it's a very, very, very important moment for me. I came to America to find freedom. So when you feel this energy, you feel this connection.
expecting a lot of people today, so we have to make sure everything goes smooth. Today's Children and Families Day, and from what I understand, there are a couple thousand of them getting ready to line up outside right now. So let's make sure we have everything intact and ready to go.
President's Day weekend is one of the biggest weekends of the year for us.
Put me in the middle so we don't get mixed up.
We have the only complete collection of portraits of American presidents outside of the White House. Typically, we spend years planning exhibits or installations, not weeks. But this weekend seemed like a great opportunity to showcase David's piece.
Normally, it takes a little bit of time for people to get up here, but by 11:31, people are already upstairs. We're going to try to get through between 200 and 300 people in an hour today.
We are going to do something on the screen, okay? And it's going to work, and then we are going to see this beautiful piece. I think inside each glass they tell stories, and we can hear the stories. Is that okay? Okay.
Do you see it now?
Really, glass has never been done in this kind of scale. We're having so many people try it on, so many people wearing it. So we have people of all walks of life, all ages, coming here to experience David's work.
This is our story. This is why these lines stay here.
Right.
It's about you, me. It's about us.
It was worth the wait. We knew it was going to be about 2 hours going into it, and we did hit prime time, but we thought it was worth it just to see it.
It was a little overwhelming. It was a lot going on because you're looking through the lenses, which by itself, the flag looked cool, just seeing all of the frames of the glasses. But then you see the pictures through the lenses, and you're seeing the text through the lenses, and then you're seeing in your glass a video going on. So there was a lot happening. It was really interesting, much more interactive than any piece of art I can think of I've seen.
It was just amazing how it transported you into different periods of time.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Nothing's been like this. I mean, nothing. Thousands of people today from all over came to really enjoy this piece.
Congratulations.
I was talking to a woman from the State Department, and I said, "How did you hear about it?" She said, "How did I hear about it? There's no one in Washington that doesn't know about this."
You're coming to the show.
Sorry.
You're coming to the show. You're coming to the show in 2 hours. Or 2.5, I don't know. You're coming to the show.
Thank you. What is your name?
David Datuna.
David, you are really famous right now.
David, come here. I want to show you something interesting things. Let's go. I want to show you the very interesting portrait.
Okay.
And you have to remember this story because this is our family stories, okay?
Okay.
Right, who is this guy?
Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley. Your grandfather was arrested by police.
My grandfather?
Yes. Your grandfather Alex was arrested in Russia, in Georgia, in the USSR, only because he listened to the music of this guy. That's it. You think it's normal to be arrested just because you like the music?
No.
And this is the reason why your father, me, came to US. Because I was a young kid and I just had a shock, and I just thinking, why it's possible? How it's possible? Why the USSR scare and hate the Americans? And it was a big question for me when I was like 6 years old. And this is one of the reasons why I came here. And this is why you're born here, because I understand this is country, which one you have to born in here. This is your country now. You are?
David Datuna.
And you are?
American.
You happy you're American?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay, let's go downstairs. You're gonna walk now. You have to start to walk now, okay?
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Don't miss.
It's the final day of what's been a really intense weekend. And with the turnout from all over the region, it's going to be a very busy day. And knowing this may be the last opportunity for the public to see it for a while, it's also thrilling.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
end of the line. It runs about 2 hours from this point at the end.
So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like 40% from the people, it's like teenagers and children. This is the bridge for the young generation.
Here's the name Studio 54. What does that do? I'm ready to have a good time.
Television now takes its place as a new American art and industry.
I think the only time I've seen anything remotely like this here at the Portrait Gallery was when we unveiled the Barack Obama Hope image by Shepard Fairey. I think we're proving to everyone that there's a huge appetite for integrating wearable technologies with art. The public is dying to see it.
I grew up with the I Love Lucy show, Studio 54. And
Right, Studio 54.
Does it know how old I am?
So I saw the Studio 54 thing, and then I saw an interview with Andy Warhol talking about pop art, which is kind of cool. Just like totally answering single syllable questions. Like, do you think the world understands your art? No.
I saw Michael Jackson, actually. There were and Truman Capote, yeah.
And it's also just as an object, it's really beautiful.
It is. It is. I wanted to see more.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I wish we had more time.
The original rubrics for the portrait gallery were you had to be born an American, contributed to American society, and have been dead for 10 years. So there really wasn't a whole lot about this museum that engaged younger people. The success of this is a first step in many more of these type of exhibits.
Every day the momentum is just built. The audiences have grown bigger and bigger. My colleagues, our curators, historians, our educators, everyone who's come through over the last 3 days has been wowed, not only by the piece and by the chance to meet David and hear his story, but also by the incredible reaction that the public has had. David has left the building. It's sort of bittersweet when the artist is not present, that there's a little bit of something of the magic missing for me.
So today is the last chemotherapy. As we had mentioned before, the goal of this treatment is really to get rid of the cancer completely. And so 4 cycles of chemotherapy is the standard treatment. You've already had a CAT scan, which shows that the tumor was shrinking very nicely. So this is really the best possible scenario. You've had the best result with the chemotherapy and radiation, and now we just have to follow you and make sure that this doesn't come back. That's a very good thing. Yeah, so this is the last chemotherapy hopefully you'll ever have.
The last couple of months, my mother feels something wrong with me. She feels this from my face or from my energy. When the doctor told me my cancer in remission, I decide now it's time to tell to my mom. Even I tell her this with the positive news, she's just crying all day. I built the Georgian flag now. This is country where I'm born. I was in Georgia a few times and huge changes. I was in many universities there and I meet with the students. And I can say the new generation is just great. They're ready to change something. They have no scare inside. And I feel I have to be with them. And this is just one of the pieces. It's going to be Georgian flag, which one is going to be present from me to Georgia. And we have to give this flag to President. Very nice guy. I met him also a few times. If you want to change something, you have to change first in your mind. And same thing in the country. If you want to change something, you want to change mentality something. And what can change the mentality? Art. Art. New movie, theater, music, art. This is what builds people's mentality. This is what builds the people's visions. And if we build this in the right way, it means we're going to build right generation. What else you can do, you know? Nothing.
Well, I see our country developing as a place of creativity, art, as a place where really European values and democratic values are put into a very dynamic development.
What will make a big difference for the future is people like David, who came out, who risked it all and made it, to go back and tell them, you know what, I made it, I did it, it is possible, and you can have the same dreams.
But when people like you come back, they bring great emotions and they bring great impulse for further development.
think technology keeps pushing the boundaries of how we relate to each other, how we connect to information, but it's artists like David Datuna who help us see the creative possibility of what those technologies can do.
This is the right size now. This is the right feeling, but this is only 2-3% from the full work, you know?
David, I think, is one of those artists who has the ability to break through and reach people at some part of their core, their soul, and really involve them in his work. And that's what makes a quote-unquote hit artist, if you will.
Perfect, beautiful Georgian baby. I like this.